Is your cell phone, is your smartphone your assistant and your servant, an instrument and a tool, or is your smartphone actually your master? The reality is that technology can be so addicting, and I know this is being posted to social media, so I hope I'm not a hypocrite, but social media can be so addicting, and it's getting to the point where maybe all the phone usage we have isn't really what we deeply desire. Maybe we're just following some impulse. And so this is not a guilt trip, but this is really an invitation to guard over our attention. There are studies that show that our attention span as human beings is rapidly declining. Even with screen attention span, I saw the statistic that in the past 20 years that even our attention span related to screens is declining, let alone apart from screens. So in about the past 20 years, it's went from 150 seconds of attention span to 47 seconds. That's a pretty dramatic difference in a pretty short period of time. Again, this extends beyond just screens. Some people compare the average attention span of a human being today to that of a goldfish. Some people say, well, that's not totally accurate. Others say it is true. But either way, I think it's pretty clear that our attention span is dramatically declined as human beings. And so when it comes to any technology, but especially smartphones, we have to really be intentional about it. These applications, they're designed to be attention grabbing. Video games in general, they're designed to be very addicting and stimulating. And so if we're not intentional about how we use our technology, particularly our phones, it's very easy to become enslaved by them. I'm not here to say that you shouldn't use your phone. I'm not here to say that you shouldn't have headphones, that you shouldn't have the internet. That's not what I'm here to say. I am just inviting you to just be intentional. And the reality is, it's not like that we actually want to be on our phones all the time. This is something we've thought about, we've reflected upon, and we said, you know what, yeah, I want to be on my phone however many hours a day. The reality is we just kind of do it. My invitation is not just to do some magic amount that I as a priest am recommending. Like, how much do you actually want to be on your phone? How much of your life do you want to be on your cell phone? How impulsive do you want to be with your smartphone usage? Do you want to be intentional in how you use your phone? Or do you just want to be impulsively drawn to it spontaneously throughout the day? I'm inviting us all just to be intentional about how we use technology so that we can really preserve our attention span and just live the lives that we actually want to live. The reality is our attention is one of our most valuable gifts because attention leads to the higher intellectual capacities that we have. Even memory can be related to attention. So some people feel like, yeah, I don't have a really good memory, which may be true, but memory, in order for something to be in our memory, we actually have to be able to pay attention. And so sometimes memory issues can actually be attention issues that we're not actually even, if we're reading something, we're experiencing something, we're listening to something, we're not actually focused enough to actually fully experience the information in the first place so that it can be stored. And so attention is necessary for memory. Attention is necessary for these other profound thoughts that we can have as human beings, this profound reflection that we have this ability to do as human beings. And so we really want to guard our attention so we can use our mind. This is what makes us different than other animals. Even the smartest animals, the smartest monkeys, the smartest dolphins do not even remotely compare to human beings. Even there's this monkey that, I don't remember his name, but he's like the most advanced monkey in terms of language. And he was able to memorize, I don't know, like 150 or a decent number of symbols, but he couldn't even do the most basic grammatical functions. He couldn't distinguish between man eats apple and apple eats man. And so I don't want to get too off track here, but we are so different than other animals in our intellectual capabilities. And this is not just so that we can build airplanes and faster computers and all these things. What's most profound about our mind and our intellect is that we can come to know deeper truths about the human person, about other people, about the meaning of life, and most importantly, about God. And so the more profound reflections of philosophy and theology and religion, these come from thinking more deeply about things. And so we have to all be intentional. You don't have to, but the invitation is to be intentional about preserving our attention so that we can have this ability to ponder and to reflect and also to pray. Even before the internet and video games and smartphones, sometimes people would still have a hard time praying. Some people would have a hard time meditating, reflecting. But these things, praying, meditating, reflecting, these things, we're made for these things. We're made to unlock these deeper spiritual capacities. Prayer, reflection, meditation, these are the things that make us profoundly human. And we're more than just physical creatures, we're spiritual creatures. And so, yeah, even before all this technology, it could even be challenging then. Well, what about now? And so when people say, well, I go to mass or I go to pray, it's just boring. Well, we've hardwired ourselves to have such a short attention span. And the reality is it isn't just prayer and mass that's boring, but now everything in life for many people is becoming boring. I mean, there's been so many times where I've seen friends who are hanging out with each other. I'm not talking about a kid in math class in school. I'm talking about friends hanging out together, and they're just on their phones with each other a lot of the time. And people are at like important events like weddings. I've been to, places like Rome, exciting places, exciting events, and people are still checking their phones. And even just my time like working in the high schools, so many students would have a hard time resisting putting in headphones for like the 2-minute passing period. I'm not here to make fun of anyone, but like, just I'm asking the question, like, can we not go 2 or 3 minutes without just constant stimulation? And so again, the goal isn't just for us to be Amish to get rid of it all, but what's the way that we can intentionally use our technology? It's important to be specific. I think a lot of people have this sense of, I don't want to be on my phone all the time. I want to be a person who can think more deeply. I want to be a person who can ponder and reflect the deeper things in life. I want to be a person who can pray and meditate. But this general goal isn't enough. We need specific goals. So my invitation for you is just to be specific about your boundaries with technology, the boundaries with your phone, boundaries with social media. I think without those boundaries, like the part of our brain that's just more easily stimulated, the more primitive parts of our brain, looking for that next dopamine kick, will try to get around this desire to use your phone less. Like those primitive parts of our brain will resist that boundary. So for us just to be very specific, like, and you can discern this yourself, but of course my encouragement would be when you wake up, not checking your phone right away. Certainly a good rule I have for myself is I do not use my phone in bed, because I noticed that when I was in bed, I just had so much less like willpower and control to just not endlessly scroll and spend so much time. Even if I got out of bed and used my phone, I was way less likely to just scroll and scroll and scroll or just waste time on it. So my encouragement would be to not use your phone right when you wake up, to not use your phone in bed, to have some time for prayer, for reflection. Even people who are not religious, they'll have a gratitude journal. Of course, I would encourage that gratitude would be directed towards God. And then, even at nighttime, people already talk, right, about not having the blue light on your phone, messing with your circadian rhythms. People talk about not using phone for an hour or two before bed. So I pass along that invitation as well, even just for better sleep. But then also, again, to allow us to have some time for deeper thought and reflection. Another really helpful thing to do is with social media is just having certain times of the day that you allow yourself to use social media like part of your daily routine. And it is more stimulating and it releases more dopamine and all this. So I encourage you not to do it in the beginning of the day, to do those tasks that require more focus and concentration. And the evening or night when you're more relaxed, maybe use it more then. Personally, I've tried using the app timers where it's okay, you can only use this app for 15 minutes a day. You use the app and there's a timer, and then the timer runs up, and then it's easy to just go use your password, unlock it, get more time. I found it's been the most helpful to have certain times of the day to use social media. And even there's been times where I felt like I was using it more, trying to put boundaries of certain days of the week. So something I've done before that's been successful is I'll just use social media on Saturdays or something like that. So again, you don't have to follow every little tip I'm saying. I'm just encouraging you, what is the life you want to live? What's the relationship you want to have with technology? Do you want to be a person of more profound thought? Do you want to be someone who can deeply reflect on things? Or do you want to be someone who's just so impulsive, who just constantly has to have this stimulation, this excitement, this screen? And I bet the best version of yourself, the most true part of yourself, doesn't really desire that. And so, yes, just encourage you, have specific boundaries with technology. Have specific rules for yourself, just so you can find balance in your life, and just so you can watch over this precious gift we have of our attention, which is really connected to these other deeper, more profound parts of our human thought and mind. God bless everyone.